Everyone talks about how magical Iceland is, but what it is actually like to live here in 2026. Because visiting Iceland for a week and living here are two completely different experiences. After spending the last 3 years living on and off in the Icelandic countryside, I have discovered things about daily life here that people rarely talk about. So in this video, I want to share the real pros and cons of living in Iceland, the things that are honestly amazing and the things that can make life here surprisingly difficult. And just a quick disclaimer, this is my personal perspective from living mostly in small towns and the countryside. I have never lived in Reykjavik, so my experience might be very different from someone based in the capital. But let's start with the good things.
First pro, definitely, I would say, is the access to nature. Nature is always here. It's not like a weekend trip, it's more like a everyday kind of thing. You go outside here in the countryside and there's a lava field with moss. We have mountains, ocean in the front. There's Icelandic horses around. In the summer, we do have sheep. They just roam free the entire country. That's something that is really hard to beat. Apart from that, we also have amazing, exquisite, pristine air and water quality. I always just take a deep breath and I'm like, this is why I'm here. Like, the air should be the only one thing to convince you to come here even once in your life. Iceland is also extremely safe. I never had a problem here. To walk at night, wherever I am in Iceland, I always feel safe. Hitchhiking as a woman, super doable. Even in the winter, no problem. Something really great about working in Iceland is unions. You get to choose if you want to support a union, and in exchange for a small fee, every month they refund you courses, they refund you your bills for swimming pool or gym, they support your education, they support you in case your employer doesn't pay you. That's really great. And regarding salaries, yes, they can be really high, even if you just do simple things like dishwashing or housekeeping. You don't really need experience for that very often, although it's getting harder and harder to get a job recently in Iceland. I would say that things are changing because more and more people have found out about this way of living, saving up money here and then leaving to spend it somewhere else. With the strange weather we have today, it was raining, snowing, hailing, and now sun. Weather here is a big surprise.
Which can be a nice surprise as well. There is a famous Icelandic saying, "Don't like the weather? Just wait 5 minutes." Summer in Iceland can actually be really beautiful though. I have a bit of a bad habit of romanticizing it. If you're enjoying this video so far, feel free to leave a like. Apparently this is the exact moment the algorithm likes it the most, right before we get into the cons.
Okay, so here's a small reality check for anyone filming or spending time outside in Iceland during winter. It is cold, and the wind is making it feel even colder. I have been using this gear lately when filming or just being outside, and honestly, it makes a huge difference. It is battery powered, and it actually allows me to spend more time in outdoors and do things I wouldn't otherwise.
I'm talking about a heated apparel from Venustas. The main piece I use is this heated vest. It runs on a small power bank that fits into a pocket here, and you can adjust 3 heat levels depending on how cold it is. It keeps me warm for up to 10 hours. I've been also using their heated socks and mittens. The socks are great when I'm outside for a long time in temperatures below 0, which is basically most of the time in winter here, so they really save the day. The mittens are honestly the biggest game changer for filming outdoors, because my fingers normally go numb very quickly. Whenever I need that extra kick of warmth, I just slip them on once they're warmed up, and you can literally feel that cozy heat spreading through the fingers. I love it. Most of the gear is water resistant, and some pieces, like this vest, are made with recycled materials, which I really appreciate. So thank you, Venustas, for sending these and helping me stay warm while living in Iceland. Now, back to the juicy cons.
Life here can get very lonely. This is a big one and definitely not talked about enough. Especially in small towns, isolation is real. You've got long distances, very small communities, and the feeling that people are given, not chosen. You don't always meet people because you connect, but simply because they are there. And this can be very limiting, especially if you expect to have some deeper and more meaningful connections. The food quality is quite poor. What do I mean by that? Vegetables and fruits are usually imported, except for some vegetables that grow in Iceland, like cucumber, tomato, and rhubarb in the summer. Some produce is already rotten or moldy in the supermarkets, and people don't really fuss about it, they just buy it anyway. Healthcare quality is also quite poor. This might be a little bit controversial. However, I think that if the nearest hospital is 2 hours drive from here, well then, in general, if you live in the middle of nowhere, then the access to healthcare is really, really hard. If you're required to go to the doctor very often, then you need a car to actually move around. And then we're moving to the next point. Having a car is extremely expensive. Like, the market is saturated with cars that are already broken or nearly broken. You spend around 500, 700k on a car, and you need to have an extra 200k to repair further the car, because the car will always have something to repair, like, hidden cost. Like repairing, changing oil, changing filter, can cost you even 50k. And if we're talking about transportation, public transportation outside Reykjavik kind of almost doesn't exist. I mean, it exists. 5 times a week there is a bus running from the capital area to my place, and it takes around 4.5 hours to reach this place, and the cost is 12,000. Okay, I mean, an issue as well for a person that wants to get around, you kind of need your own car. I do hitchhike a lot, and that solves this problem. So if you want to afford all of those things, all of those luxuries, like having a car, for example, you need a well-paid job. In order to get a well-paid job, probably would be the best to learn Icelandic. Regarding Icelandic, there are courses that support your Icelandic learning journey. However, they are usually very poor quality, I must admit. I have heard of people that they usually don't teach you how to speak Icelandic, which, well, kind of, I don't know, makes no sense. Sometimes at work, it doesn't really feel like I'm in Iceland. Like, most of the time, I just speak English and I don't even hear Icelandic, unless we have Icelandic customers, which is rare as well, or when a delivery guy comes in and by any chance he is Icelandic. Not too many chances to actually feel like I live in Iceland. If you come here for the first time to work, for example, then you can have a problem also getting paid what you deserve to get paid. Like, some employers don't know how to pay correctly, or they just take advantage of someone not knowing the Icelandic wage system and they underpay you. It happened to me. And the last but not least, winters are tough AF. They are not for faint-hearted. Sometimes we have storms that last for multiple days, and the roads, actually the only road around the country gets closed, or at least partially closed. That happened to me in January, and we were stuck and unable to go to work, for example. Keep that in mind if you want to stay here over winter. Yeah.
Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video where I'll be camping in winter, solo, for the first time. Bye!